All right, hey guys, what's up? It's Dean. Welcome to Man Flow Yoga. It is 12 p.m. It's Wednesday, and that means we are live. So, in this little live broadcast, what I want to go through today is power yoga with an emphasis on power yoga for beginners. So, the reason why there's a few reasons why I'm making this. The main reason why I'm making this is because we recently started making more power yoga type workouts in our online members area at manflowyoga.com. And so I want to show you some of what we've been doing, which has been really popular. We've had a lot more comments than usual on the workouts, and a lot of people are being challenged by these workouts, which is always a good thing. Doing something that challenges you is how you get stronger. And also people aren't doing them in a way that they can get injured or develop improper movement patterns. So I want to go through kind of all of that. So we release a new workout every Monday, and this week and also for the next few weeks, we're going to be putting out beginner-friendly power yoga. Now, what is power yoga? Power yoga is kind of defined as a flow yoga class. We can talk about it in a lot of ways, but basically power yoga is using movement and yoga. So instead of just holding yoga postures for a longer time, we're being a little bit more dynamic with the postures. There is a bit more emphasis on building strength, on sweat, on making this more of a challenging workout. So those are just some kind of connotations that typically go with power yoga. My complaint with typical power yoga is that they move too fast, there's not enough emphasis on technique, and people try to just get tired and sweat instead of doing the exercises correctly. So kind of with my power yoga workouts that I do, what I do is I make them more slow and more controlled. I make sure that you've got all the right muscle groups warm before you get started as part of your warm-up. And I'm just trying to get you a better, safer, and more effective workout. Again, a lot of the biggest issue I think with power yoga is that there's too much quick movement and not enough attention to technique. So I try to do it in a way that's a little bit slower, a little more focused on technique. So how do you make a yoga workout into a power yoga workout? And the answer is that you can get a little bit creative with this, so you don't necessarily have to just do yoga poses. You can insert in things that you might find in Pilates or boot camp or core workouts, but sticking with kind of a yoga base of that flow aspect of not just doing kind of an uncomfortable or a weird or an awkward transition, but staying within a flow, moving from one exercise to the next kind of seamlessly. And then as always with yoga, an emphasis on the breathing, making sure that your breathing matches your movement. So today I'm going to go through a few beginner movements that I've been doing in my workouts and things that people have been kind of pleased with, and I'll show you so you can improve that difficulty as we go on. All right, so let's start off with things on your back. So way that we can do power yoga on our back is starting off with, let's take a basic yoga exercise, right, which is a reclined twist, and instead of holding it, we're going to do reps with it. So you've probably seen this before in my workouts, but we're doing reclined twist in a more dynamic way. So inhaling out, exhaling to the middle. And this is one of the most simple ways that you can start off a power yoga class. And this is a great way to kind of relieve stress in your lower back, to release pain, and we're also working on our core strength as we do this. All right, next move, we can do a bridge, but we can do this a bit more dynamic. So instead of just doing a bridge and holding here, we can do it with a pulse. So heels squeeze toward your shoulders, pressing down through your toes and your heels. You want to inhale at a neutral position, and then exhale to drive up a little bit more. So you'll be squeezing your glutes, driving your hips up higher, and then releasing with the inhale, and then exhaling, driving up again. And you can do maybe 5 reps, or let's say even 10, 15, even 20 reps. In this way, we're still moving slow enough that we're working with attention to detail, but we're not doing this too quickly that we're losing the technique and putting the weight where it's not supposed to be. So you want to feel this in your glutes and in your hamstrings, not so much in the lower back. All right. Now from here, let's go up to a seated position. and we can do some boat work. And this is a really great exercise for core strength. So with boat, lift your heels off the ground, try to get your shins parallel, using your hip flexors, using your thighs to lift. Lift your chest up, try to aim your chest up at the ceiling, make your back flat, bring your arms out. So some things we can do from here, we can twist, kind of like we're doing a Russian twist, right? Inhaling out, exhaling to the middle. So this is one thing we can do. We can also do crunches here. So inhaling legs out, kind of leaning back, exhaling coming up to boat. And this way we're kind of combining strength with cardio. So if you're looking for a cardio benefit, this is a really good way to do things. All right, let's move up. I'll show you some other things we can do. So power yoga or dynamic yoga, we're taking basic static yoga postures, making them dynamic. So let's go into a high lunge or a crescent moon. A crescent lunge. So from here, arms are up, right? Shoulders stacked on the hips, legs squeezed toward one another. And instead of just holding here, I can do some split squats, right? So I can bring my leg down, exhale up. And this way, I'm still working on mobility, I'm still working on strength, but now I'm just doing it in a bit more dynamic way. So power yoga with that cardio element or with that dynamic movement element is a good way to, if you don't like staying still, this is a really good alternative. So this is a way that you still work on your mobility, you still work on strength, still working on kind of isometric exercises, but there's a bit of a dynamic element involved. So we are getting a little bit more movement, and that might be better for people who like moving more. Switching sides, coming down, exhaling up. So this is just one example. We can also do this in other poses. So for a warrior two, right? We can do this with a straightening the leg and then bending the leg. And this is something that I do in, if you've ever seen my Body by Yoga workouts, the DVDs that I've made, I'll do these in those. We have a lot of this kind of stuff in that. So then obviously doing the other side, maybe doing it with a warrior one, right? So very similar to a high lunge, except the back foot is down. Same thing. I'm just going through bending and straightening the leg, making this a bit more dynamic. Now, power yoga is normally based on the down dog. So everything starts from a down dog or kind of ends with a down dog. So your down dog is kind of your resting position. I try not to do this typical style with my workouts because I don't think you need to do down dogs that often. And I think it's just boring going back down to a down dog every time. So I try not to do as many down dogs as other people. But, so this is a down dog, right? So the arms are straight, pressing into your hands. We're focusing on strength through the front of the body. So it's not just a stretch for your hamstrings. You actually want to focus on engaging your quadriceps and your hip flexors and pulling your belly button in, using your abs, trying to flatten your back. Now, most people don't have the flexibility to do this. So here's what you can do. First modification is bringing your feet and your hands further apart. That doesn't require as much hamstring flexibility. Second modification is bending your knees. And this is really important so we don't round the back, right? So if you're looking at me now, you can see that I'm rounding my back. And that's a big issue with power yoga, is that people don't have the flexibility to do a down dog with straight legs. But the instructor says straighten your legs, so they do it, and the back gets round, and that's not good for your core strength or good for your back. So it helps to bend your knees and then work on feeling that proper core engagement, noticing that your back is flat, kind of aiming your tailbone up. And now we're doing down dog more effectively. And you're also going to actually increase your hamstring flexibility better like this as well. But if you can't quite get there yet, then instead of doing our down dog, we can kind of practice a bird dog, right? So similar in that the hands are down, not getting as much shoulder opening, but bird dog, leg goes back, opposite arm goes out. And so one thing you do from a down dog is knee to elbow, right? So if you're in a down dog, we're going to lift the leg up and then go knee to elbow. Now we can do this very similar movement from a bird dog. Arm goes out, leg goes back, inhale, lengthen, exhale, knee to elbow. So this is helping us build that core strength, but without having to go into a down dog, without the necessary mobility. So that's one thing we can do. And then also from here, the down dog is your, as I said, From down dog, you move into other poses. So we're here in our down dog, leg comes up, and then from here, we also step up into other poses, right? So we're squeezing that leg up, coming up into a high lunge, maybe coming up into a warrior two, whoa, or maybe coming up into a balance pose, right? So lots of things we can do from that down dog. But if you don't quite have the mobility yet, then what's going to happen is we can do this from a bird dog instead. So we can start here, leg comes out, maybe the arm just stays down, I step my leg up as much as I can, and now from here, I'm able to go into the high lunge, but without doing so in a way that jeopardizes my back. So there's just a few things that you can do. Again, my main gripe with normal power yoga is that it moves too quick. It's not one of mine, you're following along to another class, then I just recommend that you move slow and in control. Make sure that you're keeping all of the, that you're following all the kind of the guidelines and the technique points that I try to mention throughout these workouts. And so yeah, and again, we just released some new power yoga workouts in the Manflow Yoga members area. If you're already a member, you can learn more on my website at manflowyoga.com. We also just started our second week of our New Year's challenge, which is establish your routine, all about getting into a habit of working out and being healthy, living a healthier lifestyle. And that's also on my website in the training section at manflowyoga.com/training. All right, any questions? All right, cool. So that's kind of what I wanted to go through today. Again, so things that we covered, I'll just recap, is making sure that you're moving slowly enough that you can stay in control and do the exercises, do the postures correctly. So most yoga studios, most yoga classes are going to go really quickly, and you'll, in an effort to just keep up, you're not going to focus a lot on technique. So I encourage you to slow things down, make sure you're doing the exercises correctly, and don't go any faster than you need to. You're actually going to build more strength, more flexibility, and more mindfulness if you're moving slowly and with control, rather than going quickly and just getting from one pose to the next. Second thing is to make sure that you're doing the necessary modifications. So if you are doing a down dog, make sure that you're bending your knees, bring your hands and your feet further apart. Make sure that you're focusing on engagement through the front side of your body. Again, so that looks like, instead of just stretching your hamstrings, we're actually working on strength through the front of the body. So yes, my hamstrings are stretching right now, but really what I'm focusing on is squeezing the fronts of my thighs and squeezing my hip flexors. So kind of like I'm holding this big beach ball between my legs and my chest, kind of hugging those areas toward one another. And that's going to help with building strength as opposed to just building flexibility. And then bringing your knees down if you need to. So instead of going from that down dog to whatever position you're going into, it's a good idea to take the knee down and then step that leg up like this, instead of maybe doing something like this and just swinging your leg up. So when you're bringing your leg up, you want to do it slow and controlled. It's about building strength here. So I'm slowly squeezing my leg up, and this does take strength to do, but if you practice doing this, you'll get better at it over time, and you're going to get a lot stronger core. Your back's going to feel a lot better as a result. And that's kind of it. Just a little tips I wanted to go through with you in terms of power yoga and making sure that you're doing the right things as a beginner. So if you found this useful, make sure to leave a comment, like, a share, and if you're not already following me on social media, I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. By the way, I've had a lot of people ask me about the yoga mat. This yoga mat should be back in stock in the next few days. The first people to learn about the yoga mats when they're back in stock are members. So members are going to learn first. After that, it's people on my email list. So the membership is obviously a paid subscription, but if you want to get on my free email list, you can sign up at manflowyoga.com/intro, INTRO. That also gets you access to my free 7-day introductory program to Manflow Yoga, which is a really cool program that we put together. 15-minute lessons / workouts, 7 days, 3 levels of each lesson, and just a really great program in general. So make sure to check that out at manflowyoga.com/intro. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Be a few more announcements coming out in the next few days, so make sure to stay tuned to social media. We just got in t-shirts. We have bumper stickers as well. And yeah, always cool stuff going on. So Looking forward to seeing you on the other videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be here next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Time as well. Take care and have a good one.